We live in the age of the superstar. But what happens when the gravitational pull of one athlete becomes so intense it starts to tear apart the very fabric of the ecosystem that produced him? Is the Japanese media simply celebrating greatness, or are they committing a slow, calculated act of self-sabotage, prioritizing the low-effort recycling of Ohtani footage over developing the next generation of narrative and talent?
This isn't admiration, it feels like an addiction, and the question we must answer is, who is the real victim of the Ohtani spotlight? Welcome back to 601 Daily News, where we dive deep into the numbers and narratives the mainstream media refuses to dissect. Today, we're switching off the third consecutive BS Ohtani special and turning our focus inward, examining the pathology of celebrity saturation that has engulfed Japanese baseball.
The sheer volume is staggering, bordering on the absurd. When news aggregates begin to label a phenomenon Ohtani harassment, you know we've crossed a Rubicon. Picture this, 3 Ohtani specials running back-to-back-to-back on BS, a content blitzkrieg that, according to internal reporting, is often constructed from barely repurposed footage. We are force-fed an endless Ohtani diet, whether we're hungry or not.
Now, the defense is simple and, on the surface, logical. The fans are watching. But are they? The figures tell a far more complex and, frankly, disturbing story. The NHK special on Ohtani, a seemingly premium documentary slot, reportedly pulled a simultaneous viewing rate of just 3.9%. This is the rock bottom of the deep dive ratings, barely scraping the barrel. If the ratings are low, why the relentless repetition? This is the core conflict.
We aren't dealing with a simple popularity wave. We are observing a structural failure within the media industrial complex, addicted to the guaranteed safety of the known star. Let's listen to the dissenting voice, the fans struggling under the weight of this constant veneration. This is the fatigue point, perfectly articulated by an anonymous user in the thread. I love the guy, truly. But when the news segments interrupt the weather report just to show him tying his shoes, it stops being baseball and starts being forced piety. That's the emotional truth of the consumer. It shifts from genuine coverage to mandatory viewing, a cultural homework assignment. But the media has its defenders too, particularly the older demographic, the Osan viewing base, who are historically the most reliable consumers of traditional TV. One internal analyst, let's call him Kenji, argued this point perfectly. These specials are designed for the 50-plus male demographic, the only group still actively watching BS.
They don't need new content, they need comforting nostalgia. Ohtani provides the perfect low-risk, high-return package. Kenji's argument acts as the primary counter-argument to the fatigue thesis. He says it's economic efficiency. Why should we risk budget on promoting a regional star hitting .280 when we have 90 hours of archive Ohtani footage we can splice together for half the cost? It's not harassment, it's economic efficiency.
This is where we must refute the economic argument, because that efficiency comes at a cost that is far greater than production budgets. This relentless spotlight creates a vacuum. By focusing 85% of national sports narrative resources on one man, the media starves every other story, every other emerging talent of oxygen. Think about the systemic damage. If a young pitcher in the NPB throws a no-hitter, they might get 3 minutes of coverage. If Ohtani hits a routine single, he gets 5 minutes, often coupled with 20 minutes of historical context and pundit commentary. The climax of this narrative decay is the looming talent gap. We remember the magic of the WBC, where Japan's depth shone. But what happens 5 years from now? By consistently prioritizing the easy, nostalgic Ohtani content, we failed to build the necessary narrative scaffolding for the next generation of players. We are teaching viewers, and more dangerously, sponsors, that only a once-in-a-century unicorn is worth following. Imagine the cumulative effect. Over the last 3 years, analysis shows that total screen time dedicated to emerging NPB talent has dropped by nearly 40% in favor of re-edited Ohtani highlight reels.
This isn't just a ratings problem, it's a structural threat to the longevity and diversity of Japanese baseball fandom. The plot twist, if there is one, lies in the potential impact on Ohtani himself. We talk about Ohtani harassment against the viewers, but consider the intense, suffocating pressure on the individual. We have projected the entire hope and narrative of a nation onto one man's shoulders. We demand flawless performance, perfect demeanor, and endless availability, fueling the media machine that constantly demands more fuel. This incessant coverage means Ohtani can never simply be a player. He must be a cultural monument, forever scrutinized. The open loop of whether this saturation is self-sabotage closes here. It absolutely is. The media machine, driven by fear of change and the convenience of recycled content, is burning the candle at both ends, risking viewer alienation and future talent development, all while simultaneously placing an unsustainable burden on their golden goose. The next true superstar won't just need to be talented. They'll need to possess a level of media resilience Ohtani may not even have known he signed up for. The era of the Ohtani special is a mirror reflecting not Ohtani's brilliance, but the Japanese media's crippling lack of imagination. If you found this discussion insightful and believe the sports narrative needs a serious shakeup, then make sure you hit that like button. Share this video with others who feel overwhelmed by the Ohtani constant, and most importantly, subscribe to 601 Daily News for more deep dives into the complex economics and culture of the sports world. What do you think? Are you experiencing Ohtani harassment, or can you simply not get enough of the Showtime phenomenon? Let us know in the comments below.